Welcome to the Closing Table with host Tamera, where we break down how to be successful in real estate and what it's really like to work in the real estate business. This is the Closing Table with Lawyer's Title.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Tamera. Today, we're going to talk about the luxury market, and also I want to talk to one of my very favorite clients that leads an incredibly large team, and let's talk about the success, how he's successful with leading that team. But first, if you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team, so give me an opportunity to talk to you about your title needs. You can reach out to me on any of my social media platforms. Today's guest is Michael Hershenberg. He's the team leader of the Hershenberg Group. He's actually $100 million a year producer and over $100 million a year producer. He went up just now when I said that. And he leads a team of, I counted 18. So am I right with the staff, Michael?
18, and then I'll have 3 in El Paso, so we'll be a team of 21.
I didn't count. Yeah, I forgot your El Paso team. So obviously he leads quite a robust team of producers. And so I wanted to talk to him. Number one, he really specializes in very high-end luxury properties. And so I wanted to kind of dive into what that looks like right now for him. And then also I wanted to talk a little bit about how his team works and the culture. So Michael, thank you so much for coming on the show with me today.
Happy to be here. And I'll just kind of go back to your point on the number one escrow team in the country, in my opinion. So,
oh, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Yes, you have.
The high level and high caliber level of service that you guys provide.
Thank you so much for that. I'm going to clip that and put it into a reel. So thank you for that. Well, I'm one of those who just wants to get going. Let's start with the luxury market. I'm really curious about your take about how the luxury market is going. So the first question is, how has the luxury real estate market been impacted by recent economic changes or events like the fluctuations in the interest rates? And that's just an example. But
yeah, no, I think that's a good point. So interest rates specifically, if I was focusing at interest rates and interest rates only around luxury, if I'm going over the $3 to $5 million price point, you're not always having somebody come in and finance this. You're going to get typically a cash purchase,
okay,
or some type of internal portfolio loan that's going against assets. Typically, if you're at the higher end of the level, you already reached retirement status, so you have investment income and things. I'm not seeing the stuff that is over 3 and 5 million. It's moving in, I think, at the same consistent time as it was before. I mean, just to prove that point, one of my good friends marketed a home just about 3 weeks ago. He listed it at an $8 million price point. This is one that didn't move for years.
Okay.
And it was beforehand at the $5.5 to $6 million price point. What captured the buyer on the other end was them listing it correctly and handling the objections right out of the gate. And the objections are making it perfect. So if I were to say a buyer is a lot more pickier at this price point, just to dumb this down a little bit, I think if the agent has an opportunity to make their listing perfect and not list something with cosmetic issues on it and price it right, it's going to move. That one moved in 7 days and it's at an $8 million price point.
Wow, that's impressive. Because I overall, and you can obviously contradict me because you're in this every day, but from what I've seen as far as contracts coming in, I've seen everything moving pretty consistently up to about 1.5 million. And then anything over 1.5 is just, it doesn't seem to be moving as well. And to your point, to kind of back up, because you did say a lot of things I do want to kind of unpack a little bit. You mentioned a portfolio buyer. I've always said, even though my question was do you think it's fluctuations in interest rates have been hurting the luxury market? I never really thought interest rates were a big impact. I thought it was more the fluctuation in their overall portfolio based on how the stock market was doing and some of their other assets were performing, right? So you confirm that they're a portfolio buyer, right? And so they're looking at their total portfolio.
That buyer knows what they want, and if that buyer has the ability to buy a 16-year-old daughter a $300,000 car, he has that same authority when he's looking at a home. If he knows what he wants and knows what's best for the family, he's not going to push back a whole lot on price as long as you have it priced well.
Okay, we're going to talk about some of the emerging trends or shifts in the preferences of the luxury buyer. But first, I want to tap into something else that you said. You said listing it correctly was incredibly important, and then you also said the property has to be incredibly turnkey, meaning everything is perfect before you list the home.
It's true. Yeah.
So, what does listing it correctly mean?
So the declutter aspect is always holds true in this deal. I would never put a listing on the market, never put a property at this price point on the market if you were showcasing all of the seller's things. I take an approach that, a lot of agents, try to take the approach. I've connected with the right team that gives me a really great product. I make all of our images magazine quality. Like you're shopping through a furniture store magazine, and you're looking at rooms that are staged properly to make sure that it's consistent, and you're not looking at a whole bunch of collectibles in the background, or a buyer's guitar collection, or a buyer's closet with all of his or her dirty clothes everywhere.
Yeah,
you want to make it as clean as you can. So I go and fix the inefficiencies digitally.
Okay.
Remove the inefficiencies. I follow the procedure to list it as a digital upgrade so that the consumer will see that it is in fact a digital stage.
Well, I've seen a lot of the luxury homes that you've listed because you've had events where I've come and seen them. I find those houses incredibly well kept anyway, right? So I would think that most of the time you don't have to do a lot of decluttering, maybe?
No, it's setting the expectation. Some of the time we do. And it's setting the expectation at the listing point and saying, hey, listen, we want to be in a relationship together, and we want to have the same goal, buyer or seller and agent, that we were going to get this property sold in a good time frame. But you need to help me control what I need to control, and that is presenting it in the best light possible.
And you don't use a stager. You don't bring in. Do you bring in a professional stager?
You know what? I the last one I used was back in 2016 was my last stager. Like a real.
So tell me
stager.
why you don't use.
Because it was that appointment in 2016. I put my own name on the line there. I begged the client to stage because I just didn't know, and it was a vacant 8,000 square foot house in Montclair Park in Colleyville. And this is when I walked in and the rat ran across the room.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no. That's bad.
Yeah, so we staged it, but I had really put my own money in my mouth and said, hey, if you stage this, I will cover half if it doesn't sell.
Okay.
So I covered half of that staging contract, and I think it was like an $8,000 or $10,000 contract. Regardless, I paid up front for it myself.
Okay.
When I was a newbie luxury agent.
That's rough.
And anyways, it was the feedback from the buyer that ended up selling on the property. He said, "Man, I wish you would have left this vacant in the first place so that me and my wife could imagine it with our furniture." The minute he said that, I said, why don't I just do this on all of them? And so whenever we're staging, especially our vacants, we're staging it at least 10 to 12 shots, virtually staged, showcasing that room for its highest potential. And then when they walk in the room, they have a 50-inch foam board on an easel, like a canvas, like they're walking around an art gallery.
I've seen your renderings,
Walking around an art gallery, they say, "Oh, great, honey, this matches your furniture. It can fit just like this."
Okay, so you prefer to do the renderings as opposed to actual furniture in the vacant house.
Yeah, we're storytellers.
Yeah.
I think having a vacant house tells a couple stories. It gives the impression that, hey, it's turnkey and move-in ready. Mm-hmm. You can close in 3 weeks and move in.
Okay.
And be at school or whatever the time frame is for that particular buyer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I find that really interesting.
And it gives me a chance to look at any inefficiencies that are cosmetic, so I can nip them in the butt right away.
Yeah, because furniture hides a lot of that.
It does.
Right?
Sure does.
Pictures on the walls, big bulky furniture in the house is going to hide a lot of that. So I find that interesting. Okay, thank you for sharing that.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. Where do you see the luxury buyers coming from right now?
All over. So it's
all over the United States, all over the world.
all over the world. So it's interesting. We're getting a lot from the Canada markets right now.
I don't blame you. I don't blame them. It's cold.
Same feeder cities, right? The feeder city formula hasn't moved or hasn't really shifted. I mean, the commitments are already here for folks moving their headquarters or their company to Dallas or Texas.
We've seen that
in our economy. So we're still from Phoenix to LA to the New York markets to even Texas markets. We're getting stuff from Houston and San Antonio now as well.
Interesting.
Yep.
Canadian buyers, huh? A lot of Canadian interest. Yeah, like I said, I don't blame them. Okay, so kind of the next thing that I wanted to kind of circle back to, that I wanted to kind of dive into. What are some of the emerging trends or shifts in preferences among luxury buyers? Are there any new features or amenities or design elements that have become particularly sought after or necessary?
Sure. Well, we're getting a lot of funny you say that. So we're getting a lot of people that are downsizing from the big, bulky 10 and 20,000 footers.
Okay.
Working on one right now here in the Frisco market where we're downsizing from 13,000 square foot, older home built in 2011, more gaudy trim, darker tones, and we're getting into something new, more custom 2023 build, 7,000 square feet. So they're empty nesters.
That's a downsize to
the empty nesters are like saying, hey, we don't need this space anymore, and we want something that's going to appreciate more for us. We were able to get the sale out of our 20,000 square footer, but it took us a little time to do that, and we don't want to risk. We want to be more conscious of our investment now.
Are you finding that they want something that they can kind of lock and leave, even at that size of square feet?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Smart homes are offering that. So when you say trends and amenities, the smart home features are going off the roof now. We walked into a deal in Westlake just about 2 weeks ago. Lock and leave property, fully voice control automation throughout the entire house. He walked into the bathroom and said, "Go time." And
what does that mean? Yeah.
He said, "Go time." And all of a sudden, from all directions, it was Metallica.
Oh,
blaring in the background, and the lights turned on in his shower with about 20 different sprayers
at the perfect temperature
to him.
Yes.
So the wife would have her own voice control that would make it go time for her as well.
Oh my God!
So that's cool because of the automations, especially through the different add-ons to like the Control 4 package for home automation. You can get it down to the gas and the water valves.
Interesting.
So from my phone, I can, if I'm leaving out of town, I can have a scenario where I tell it, "Hey, lock, we're leaving." It shuts off water and gas valves.
Wow. Okay.
As well, and controls them at your fingertips from your phone or device.
Okay, so total home automation is a big thing. Mm-hmm. I've seen, like I said, several of your listings. I think you've had several that have had some sort of oversized detached garage storage for cars. Mm-hmm. So that's something I've seen in some of yours.
It's another big thing when you're at this price point and you are in the either car side of the world where you have a couple collectibles or you have a lot of things and you like to have heated and controlled storage. Having an exterior heated and cooled garage of some kind that you can store those cars is a big thing with height requirements as well.
I remember the one in South Lake. It had a diner, a fully functioning diner inside. The whole thing was decked out
just for the cars.
1950s.
A diner for the cars. So that was the man cave portion of the car storage, and you can look out the glass window and see all the cars.
Yes. Yeah. That was fascinating.
It was awesome. Same client with the rat story.
Okay.
It was fast forwarding years, about 8 years after or 6 years after, same house.
Well, okay. So total home automation. I've seen the detached garage storage for multiple vehicles, or luxury vehicles, or whatever their collector cars are. Mm-hmm. And then I thought the one that was also incredibly fascinating was the one you told me about in Frisco with the bulletproof glass in the master bedroom.
That was going to be coming soon. That one's a great property. We're excited about it.
So
bulletproof glass. So they wanted the whole house. Half of the house, about 3 rooms in the house, are encased in steel in the bedrooms, and then every window in the entire house, so 17,000 square feet, just in the main house, and I think 4,000 to 5,000 square feet in the guest house. All of it is encased in bulletproof glass. So think about the price of that. I mean,
was he? I think I asked you this. Was he some sort of military something? I mean, obviously it wouldn't be military.
He was an engineer. He's an engineer background. He just wanted security for his family.
Interesting.
Guard gated wasn't enough. He wanted to really kind of take that next level.
That is
and make sure
a couple of next levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's more unique. I mean, I was more, and I'm kind of getting off topic just because I thought it was really fascinating when you told me about this stuff. Any other commonalities?
Yeah. So going back to your trends on specifically unique shifts in the market where I'm seeing a new product that's emerged. to speak to, let's just say, larger luxury car collectors. So there are in Fort Worth, McKinney area, and then one more, I believe, coming south in the Mansfield area. These people have went and bought land and converted it to a private racetrack. And they've taken this private racetrack and then built on these luxury high-end condominiums that are these man caves where you can go store your beautiful, $500,000 and $600,000 cars, $1 million+ cars, store them, have a place to go party and talk about them with your friends, but then get on the racetrack and go race them.
That's incredibly cool.
So our new listing in McKinney that hit market last week at like 5.7 in that ballpark. Not only can you store probably about 100 cars on site at our property,
in his residence.
in our residence, but you can also be you're less than 5 minutes from the track.
Wait a minute. How big is this property that you can store 100 cars?
I mean, it has a over 6,000 to 7,000 square foot covered exterior garage or shop, if you will, and you can probably stack up if you were to get the appropriate lifts. You can probably fit about 40 to 50 on site in both garages, and then you have the property size to build another duplicate shop that would store
incredible.
more if you needed overflow.
So cars, and cars.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the rich guys like. The luxury clients like. They like their cars.
They
Okay.
do. For a lot of money. I actually just bought my first classic car last week.
You did? What'd you get?
Real excited about it. A 1959 Edsel.
You're gonna have to show me a picture.
It's beautiful. It's turquoise. And
That's cool.
It's all original with 30,000 miles on it.
Huh.
I'll take you for a ride.
Yeah, I'm going to take you up on that. Okay. Okay. So next question is, so with the advancements in technologies, and we kind of touched about virtual tours becoming more prevalent, how do you see these tools impacting the buying and selling process of luxury properties? Can you give us some examples where you've leveraged technology or virtual tours or anything like that to help bring a buyer to the table?
Sure can. We're doing it right now on several of our waterfront properties and several of our new construction properties. About 5 years ago, I was online. I check the MLS every day, so I see my competition. That's just something. If you're an agent in this market doing luxury, check your market, know your numbers. So it's one of my coffee things every day that I do. I go find out who my competition is, what's new to market, what's about to be off market, so that I can go get a new listing.
Okay.
But what's being done right and what's being done wrong, so that I can always stay on top of my toes to do it right. About 5 years ago, I was looking online doing my daily, and someone was listing a $11-12 million property in the University Park, Highland Park markets, and they had an 8x10 paper that it looked like they asked their 5-year-old child to draw a home in crayon with windows and a little tree and a bunny, and they put it online as the first picture.
Really?
And they said, I have it. I have it printed at the office in my podcast studio. So I always have it to be able to talk to I'm all about listing tactics, and that's what's not to do. I saw one this morning, and it was no better than a 13-year-old's drawing.
Really?
It was this morning, and it was a $9 million price point in the Frisco markets. I'll share it with you.
Oh my goodness.
And it is, for me, we're storytellers. I'm a songwriter from, back in my, it's something that I just enjoy doing as a hobby. But if you can't tell a story, you're not going to be able to make an alignment and make an emotional tie to somebody.
Well, these properties they have a story. These properties have a story.
They do.
Because they're so intricate. They have so much space in them. There's so many different rooms that are functional for so many different things, right? So you kind of follow what I'm saying. The property itself is a story.
Yeah. So like, just an example, we're doing, 6 years ago when I did this for the first time on a raw piece of land, digitally, it was a waterfront. We went in and got some designs from a builder that designed a beautiful home for us. We did a 1.5-minute virtual tour of the entire house with people walking around with snacks, sitting out and getting a tan out of the waterfront view on the deal. I mean, this was an expired cancel listing that was on the market for 4 years before I took it. 4
years.
And I took it, and we were in multiple offers on the deal within about 90 days on this. And at the time, it was about a $2.5 million lot, which today would be probably about a $4.5 million lot.
Yeah,
That would hold it today, that same exact location. Selling both neighboring lots to that one right now, by the way. So I got both of them on the market, and I'm doing the same thing. Virtual tour, walking them through, brought it down to about a 45-second video because, the buyer's attention span has gone down a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm trying to capture more right away. So I go straight to the waterfronts. And on both of those, just the, telling the story and showing a buyer at that caliber what's available, because a lot of them don't know what's available and they want to get into new construction. They like things new. They like things at a caliber that nobody else has. And for me, it's just storytelling and getting in front of them and showing what we can do and what the best use of the lot is.
So when you have the video that tells the story, right? How do you get it out there so that people will see it? What technology do you leverage?
Many lines. So I'm not just putting up a sign in the yard and putting a lot on the market. I'm putting the lot on the market with all flyovers, great drone shots, boundary lines, so they can see what the boundary looks like from the sky, but then also what the lot looks like standing on the lot itself. I'll have probably about maybe 16 to 17 photos of the lot itself, and then I'll go to what the surrounding area is like. So, for example, one in Grapevine that we have 2 lots in the Landing subdivision. These are all waterfront properties on Lake Grapevine. One's at $3 million, the other is at 4.9. And just for the dirt only, we listed the lots and then did some lifestyle shots of what's around Grapevine Lake. We showed a family, walking around the horse trails. We showed a family fishing out by the pier. We showed a family on jet skis. Kind of storytelling, showing what the best outcome for that family would be and what their daily life would look like. And then going in also then listing the build as well. So getting with a top builder that has architectural floor plans for that build, and I'll go and list it as a luxury listing as well. So I'm hitting it in both ways.
Right.
Then I'll get online and hit it at some of the luxury sites as well. DuPont Registry is one of my favorites, and Land.com and Land of America is absolutely my favorite for lead flow for higher end properties. And we can capture as many photos as we'd like. So I can hit over 200 photos for the property if I had them, and the video. So Zillow platform took away the video about 2 years ago now.
Yeah. MLS have a limitation.
MLS has limitations for tours that don't make sense. Land.com and Land of America can use full high res, doesn't matter how long the video.
And you find the high end buyers going there to look for stuff.
Always, especially if it has any land on it.
Do you use any of the, I've seen your stuff on social media. You use YouTube also?
Yeah, 30-second reels,
yeah.
45-second reels for sure. A lot of my agents are having success. Eunice is having a lot of success with YouTube right now.
Good.
He just captured, I think, over a $5 million buyer.
Very cool.
From the Florida markets, just with a property tour that he did, room by room.
Very cool. Yeah, and we have a partnership with Tom Ferry, and he's pumping out a lot of content right now. And one of the videos that I watched, and this isn't the first time that I've heard this, but he's making it a really big emphasis. Something that you're doing is storytelling about the community and what's surrounding that property, right? So it isn't just about doing the tour of the house. It's also about what restaurants are around, what are family fun things that you can do. If, is there a lake there, a park there?
Have you seen John's latest video?
I don't know if I have.
So we got under contract.
You got John on video?
Yeah, so we did one under contract in Granbury, but this is his Big Sandy listing. Again, another one of our listings that were on the market for years before we took it. And now he's getting a high level of interest on it. And he's sitting at the property. I think we're at a $2 million price point, over 50 acres in Big Sandy. I think there's something along the lines of a 10-acre lake on the property, huge lake on the property, and it's stocked with bass and catfish.
That's very cool.
And John is out there on the dock with a fishing rod.
Good for him.
Reeling in a 10-pounder.
Oh my gosh.
And
that'll excite a lot of people.
And then sharing about the surrounding area of Big Sandy, and the sub-city of Gilmer. See, I've never heard of a Gilmer before, but he tells the audience everything to do in the town of Gilmer and Big Sandy if you're looking for a income generating property or an escape for the weekend from Dallas.
I think it's super important to showcase the area around it and what's available. So I'm going to shift gears on you. I want to talk about you as a team leader for a little bit because I have the privilege of getting to see the intricacies of how several big teams work, right? And I've seen successes and I've seen challenges. And one of the things that I admire most about your leadership and how your team functions is your incredibly high retention rate. You do not have turnover. I won't say, that you never have anyone that parts ways, right? But you have a core part of your team that has been with you for an incredibly long time and are incredibly loyal to you. So how do you keep those most experienced experienced team members happy so that you can retain them long term?
Short answer, cookies.
Cookies.
No,
Okay, everybody
every-
out there, pay attention. It's cookies.
No. It's funny. We sometimes we'll have snacks in the office. That has nothing to do with it. We for us, it's not only celebrating the wins, it's going a step above, and really kind of focusing and celebrating that agent, and really saying, listen, the reason that I started my own team was I was part of a team that didn't celebrate their agents. I was part of a team that it was full of limiting beliefs that didn't allow the agent to really kind of step out of the box and do more than just pick up a Zillow lead.
Yeah.
Like, if you're an agent, you are an advocate for your clients, and you're more than just a real estate agent. You're an advocate. You are a spokesperson. I mean, you are a trusted advisor for that particular client. And the minute that you're able to, know that and understand that and live that, you're going to start having these monumental stepping stones. I love talking about my agent, Lisa Elliott.
Love Lisa
Elliott. She was from the brokerage that I was before. I don't say nothing bad about a brokerage in this market at all.
Yeah.
But this is when I picked her up over almost 6 years ago now. And this was a brokerage that has some limiting belief factors to it. They, even in the team meetings, like whenever they would showcase somebody and, read a testimonial or a win, the other agents that are in the building, they didn't really care. They didn't want to be at the team meeting, and they didn't really care how successful you were. They kind of held all their little, success stories and nuggets to themselves, and they didn't they didn't care how successful you were or what you did differently in a certain scenario. That doesn't do anything for anybody. That doesn't promote culture.
I agree.
For us, I want everybody and their mother to know how well Lisa is hitting it, and her lead generation tactics that she is trying for the first time, and things that she is doing, because that creates a culture that creates excitement, that creates agents to get off and try new things and get out of their sandbox a little bit.
Well, I think collaboration and sharing information, sharing successes or things that made you successful, right, is super important. But you also can't be the only one in the room sharing, right?
Right.
Then you've got to have a team that has several players on it that are successful, so that you can lift everybody up, right, and keep everybody motivated at a high level. You have several very big producers on your team. So it's not, Lisa's amazing. I'm not trying to take anything away from Lisa, but you have several that I would imagine contribute to that collaboration.
So 3 weeks ago, collaboration, we did a tactic, and this was me going back to my basics. And so I'm in the process of preparing a big year-long series for the luxury division nationwide for Real Broker. And I'm running the luxury playbook on my own podcast. So I'm opening it all.
Yeah,
I thought
that was really cool that you said that you started your own podcast. So say the name.
So
and where do we find it when you roll it out?
Yeah, so I'll be pushing it out through all of my socials here in the coming weeks. But if you are it's going to be called Playbook by the Pros Luxury Division. So it is a luxury playbook essentially for everything that I do, everything that I have success in my market, for canceled, expireds, for sale by owners, off-market deals. We'll probably close 30 to 40 off-market deals this year that are off-market land deals. We're reaching out to farmers only. Not farmersonly.com, not giving us both. I love that commercial, by the way.
That's perfect. Yeah.
That's how I met my third wife.
Yeah. We digress.
Yes, it's fun. No, but anyway, so for opening up my playbook and saying this is everything that I'll do. It was a real life example last 3 weeks ago on my team. Luann, I said this is something that I want to get back to the basics on.
Yeah,
I need you to hit this list of 100 doors exactly like this.
Okay.
She brought it to me, one proof. I said no, make a change. She brought it to me, another proof. I said it's perfect. And within 4 to 5 days, she had her first 2 calls, literally minutes apart, 30 minutes apart. That's how we took our $6 million listing that's on the market in McKinney.
How great for Luann.
And then another one back to back. I was on the phone yesterday helping her convert that we're going to get across the line in Valley View. That's going to be at another 3 to 4 million.
And that's it is such a high for someone to get a big listing like that, right? And that really just promotes that culture that that you have within your team, because they're enjoying success also. Mm-hmm. And I think where I have seen issues within team structure or keeping team members is they've learned everything they can learn. They don't see any more value, then they leave, right? And so you're doing an excellent job of communicating your value to your team.
I got my last one for Brad. I got to give a shout out.
Oh, yeah. Well, Brad, I look at
because
Brad.
the meeting,
Eunice. We got to say hi to Eunice. We haven't just said his name.
Yeah, no, everything. From Eunice to Lisa.
Jennifer Campbell.
Jennifer Campbell to my father, John, who taught me.
John is amazing.
He taught me how to storytell. He got me in my first band.
He is a great storyteller.
He is. I mean, I want to be on my podcast where we're talking about how to sell a home. Maybe he's on the ukulele. I'm doing some vocals. We'll see what we
can't
can
wait
do.
to see that.
It's gonna be fun. but going back to Brad Cook, love Brad Cook and love everything that he does. But the way that he takes direction and goes with it, like, man, he can be on that show that I forget the name of the show. It's Just Go With It Anyways or something like that, where they give you a small sample of something and then you just take it and go. And you kind of take and create the story. Okay. Essentially. It was a listing. He said, Mike, how do I want to be able to capture this listing a certain way? I said, Brad, take this advice. Go and do this direction. Let's be creative. Let's not be like your average Joe Betsy the realtor that's been doing this for 50 years. Let's go and do something a little bit differently on how we're going to get in the doors. And let's send him something and spend some money to show him that we are, and not a lot of money. Yeah. This was an 8-pack of the best German beer Doppelbock.
Oh, I remember this.
There.
Yeah,
I had to bring it in. I had to bring it in from a third-party site that gets it from Germany, and we put it in a nice wooden box. We gave a couple magazine promos, and then a nice letter that said, "Enjoy the cold beer. I hope you'll enjoy it." The guy is from Germany. Okay. And he's one of the most successful record producers in the country. And I wanted to kind of just showcase and get his attention a little bit, and it sure did. That's cool. So coming soon, that's gonna be at a very nice price point in the future, and we'll share more details of it when we get there.
So you've kind of tapped into culture, right? So will you describe your culture?
I like to say, if I was going to put a couple words, I like to say electric, because when somebody has a win and someone has a share, and they have something exciting going on, like everybody jumps in and kind of celebrates that agent. So there's some electricity there, I think, that is giving some positive vibes to our other members. Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Have you faced any challenges with Culture Fit, and how did you?
There have, yeah. So like I'm all about, and when I part ways with an agent, I don't, we leave as friends, and I've never parted ways with an agent that we haven't left as friends. But sometimes an agent is kind of maybe stuck in their ways of doing things the way that they only know how to do something, and I'm. When there's no attention and no ball moving on, deals in their pipelines because they're doing things the right way. I have to focus in on getting people out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, I agree. First, you've shown a pattern of success, right? So if you're coming on to your team, then they kind of need to try it your way, right?
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. We have between Eunice Muffler and I, going back to Eunice Muffler, this guy has over $500 million in real estate in his pipeline from reaching out to the box and doing a tactful. Something different, doing something tactful. We were sending something to a consumer, and it's been our biggest client for our group over the last 3 years. We'll do.
Go ahead.
Well, we're gonna do billions in real estate with this one investor that we'll have.
Okay, and I want you to tell. Do you know how old Eunice is?
Eunice is I believe 22 now.
Yeah. And so I want the audience to hear that, because age in real estate doesn't necessarily stop you from being successful,
no,
right?
Not at all,
it is about following a path of success, right? And being willing to be flexible and learn that path.
You got to put the commitment in. I mean, there have been nights where I've been closing down the office on Mondays or Tuesdays, and I'm there till 8:30 or 9 sometimes. Yeah. Getting stuff done. I'll try to, when I can, I'm at home at 5:30 and ready for dinner. But on the days that I need to execute and catch up, especially, being out sick or anything like that, like I'm there to catch up, and Eunice is leaving the door. Eunice and Ahmad are leaving the door. I love it. At 7:30 and 8 o'clock.
Ahmad's another one that's a hustler.
He is. He's going to be an up and comer. We got some. He's getting a lot of success right now on the texting campaigns.
Okay, good for him.
A lot of success in the texting campaigns.
Interesting. I want to talk to him about his scripts. Yeah. Okay, so finding talent. Speaking of like people like Ahmad, you just brought Ahmad on a few months ago. So finding talent is the number one biggest challenge for anyone, right? Trying to hire. So how do you find your talent?
I get a lot from word of mouth. That's one, but also my alliances. I've reached out to you several emails over the years, just having a conversation with agents that are not excited anymore. I don't want to see an agent leave this business. This is too exciting of a business. This opportunity in the shift right now. What's happening all around with, especially with the NAR stuff, and that's another subject.
That's a whole
other topic. But what that's doing, that's gonna. I think it's gonna cut our industry in half, especially the producers that are at my caliber.
Yeah,
it's gonna cut them in half, which means I'm doubling and tripling down. If I'm doubling down on my business and doing it the right way, I want to have a $300 and $400 million year in the coming years.
I want you to too.
I know. I'm ready for it. But if agents are out and they don't have stuff going on, I feel bad for saying this. I mean, COVID kind of started that. There's some of my competition. In my markets that I'm in, where unfortunately there are some deaths that happened where agents got out of the business in that way.
Yeah,
it's awful. I would never want that. But these are agents that were running for 40 and 50 years, having a successful book in their business. Well, now that we're seeing the shift, you have agents. I had a meeting. Going back to one of my first brokers I was with. I had a meeting with an agent. I brought her on. She starts in about a week. She is a 10 to 14 year agent. 10 years as a licensed realtor, 4 to 5 years with the builder role.
Okay.
And so she has this book of business of 15 years that people that trust her and love her and are in a different selling season in their life. They're in a different cycle, and she's like, Mike, I need to reignite this fire.
Yeah.
That's why I want you on my business. You're not a $100,000 commission agent. You're a $500,000 commission agent.
Yeah.
And we need to turn on a switch and let everybody know in your circle that you're still doing real estate. She's put a pause in her business for the last 2 years.
Okay.
And that hurt her, but there's still an opportunity to go and recapture and show her that she's now making an alignment with the most successful luxury team in all of North Texas.
Well, and I think we're going to see, I guess I could give it a name, the great weed out. We had all of these agents come on board during COVID when it was really easy to get deals, right? Well, now we're back to a more normalized, even kind of temporarily a little bit weird market. And especially with the NAR stuff, we're going to see a lot of agents. You're not wrong. We're going to see a lot of them go.
It's a big shift, for sure.
It is a big shift. Mm-hmm. Well, I think this is a great place to stop for today. Is there any last minute advice you want to leave the audience with, or a team leader with, facing issues with their team?
Yeah, I guess I'll leave advice to a team leader facing issues with their team, especially if they have seen a lack in production from their team members, or deals are harder to get to the closing table. I would honestly, try to see what else. Like, don't recreate the wheel, but do some research. Open up Google and find out what other luxury agents are doing, or other agents or teams are doing and having success at doing. Stay in front of your people. Have your weekly script and role play calls, so that every one of your team members can be a master at the rebuttal for the NAR settlement.
Yeah,
we've heard it 20 or 30 times in the last 2 weeks at listing appointments.
Okay, and
now I'm sharpening every one of the agents to make sure that we know what to say. We know how to get back to our value proposition.
That's right.
So I would say, recreate the wheel. Get back in front of your people. And if you are looking for a new tactic to hit, like, try something different. This is the perfect opportunity to get outside of your sandbox, get outside of your comfort zone, and learn a new tactic. Learn YouTube, learn Instagram at a high level. Learn do you know what a digital door knock is?
A digital door knock?
Yeah, learn this. And so it's a digital door knock. Learn it from a friend of mine, Tyler, in the New York markets, and then he also Ed used it in New York. Tyler is using it in the Canadian markets.
Yeah, I met Tyler.
But it's essentially through he's my hat guy.
Yeah, well, I know. I met Tyler. And when he came walking in your mastermind, I was like, who is this guy? Yeah. And then he started talking. I'm like, wow, okay.
He's a rock star. Both $100 million producers. But Ed did a digital door knock, is what I call it. He might have another name for it, but it's getting through Facebook, or the Instagram platform, and going into finding his city. So I live in Colleyville, so I'd open up Colleyville, Texas on the search tab, find something that's hyper local to Colleyville, and that is, let's just call it a dog groomer in Colleyville, Texas. Business owner, she has let's just say she has 9,000 likes for a dog grooming business. You go to that owner of that group and you like 4 of her photos, so that then it triggers the algorithm. You like 4 of her photos on her post, and then you go and comment on one of them. If she's, let's just say she's grooming a schnauzer. Hey, that's a mean cut for a schnauzer. Keeping the beard intact. Awesome. Nice to meet you. And then say something like that about the photo. So do 3 likes and then 3 comments on photos, and then go into a DM or a message and have a video and say, hey, just keeping it from business to business. Cynthia, rock and roll. So happy to hear that you are the #1 in your market in dog grooming here in Colleyville, Texas. I always want to just give a shout out to you. We have a lot of followers and a lot of people now moving to Colleyville. I'll absolutely keep you in mind. Let me know if we can have a cup of coffee so I can know more about your business and you mine. Boom, send. So now she's getting hit up on 4 likes on a photos. She's getting comments on 3 photos, and then she's getting it's almost a 100% chance, 100% probability she's going to respond back and say, thank you, business owner.
Yeah.
You're professional in your market. Hey, just so happens that I might have somebody that's moving to the area, moving out of the area. One of my customers for 30 years is moving out to San Antonio. So we might need to make an alignment with someone that they trust as well.
That is fabulous. I learned something new today, the digital door knock.
Yeah.
So, Michael, this is where we're going to stop for today, but that was a huge golden nugget to lead the audience with. I love the digital door knock. So I appreciate you coming on my podcast today and being incredibly collaborative and being an open book. So thank you so much for sharing. I reserve the right to have you back again because you have just an incredible amount of strategy and tactics that you use to be successful in the luxury market. So thank you.
And keep an eye out for Playbook by the Pros digital series. We're going to be launching
That's right.
that in just about 2 weeks. You'll start getting some socials on it.
I cannot wait to see that. So thank you again, Michael. I appreciate you as a friend and a partner. So
Glad to be here.
That's another episode for today. Again, I'm your host, Tamera Gady. If you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So give me an opportunity to talk to you about your title needs and make it a great day.